Melaka, the historical state, have been the most significant historical attractions among the Malaysians and also the tourists. Melaka is the pioneer of the development of Malaysia, and the landmarks of Melaka are the footprints left behind by the colonizer. And in this very unique place, we will be able to meet a minority sub-ethnic culture group living here that have proven the fusion occurred in the age of glory of Melaka. These very unique ethnic are the Peranakan Chinese. These Peranakan Chinese, whom the guides are called Baba and ladies as Nyonyas, was the inheritance of the intermarriages between the Chinese merchants trading at Port of Melaka and the local non-Muslim Malay women at that time. The Peranakan has many similarities to the Malays in their daily life. However, they still remain and maintain the traditions and rituals of the traditional Chinese. Over the decades, following the trends towards globalization, this historical state had grown from prosperities to a busy attractions. And the footsteps toward globalization had brought many changes to these historical attractions and affected many as well as to these minority, the Peranakan Chinese.
Basically, the Peranakan Chinese or the Baba and Nyonyas, the rich ones, the rich and wealthy ones, they live along the Heron Street, which is also called in those early days as Jalan Belanda. You must understand the Peranakan Chinese, they speak the Baba Malay. So they tend to speak in Malay words, the Baba Malay words. So they always say it's Jalan Belanda, meaning Dutch road, because the Dutch once lived there. Okay, so Heron Street is a very rich, the place for the rich Peranakan Chinese. Okay, and it was also called the Millionaires Road because the millionaires lived there. There is the rich Heron Street, or now you call Jalan Tuntang Cheng Lock. Right. The next road parallel to Jalan Tuntang Cheng Lock of Heron Street is Jonker Street. Jonker Street was for the, how would I say, maybe the less rich, second class. Pardon me, I wouldn't want to use a class system. But what I'm saying is the lesser rich. Okay? They live around the roads. Most of the Peranakas just live there as residential homes. Some of them, they make cakes, the ladies make cakes, and they will get somebody to sell for them to the Heron Street rich people.
Over the years, changes took place. Heron Street and Jonker Street become so commercialized. Most of the rich Peranakan, they keep their home as ancestral home where they perform the prayers. And in Baba Malay, they call it the Rumah Abu.
Post 80s, 90s, suddenly the influx of tourists came. That's when you find the changes. Houses became shops, became restaurants, became little hotels, budget hotels, all kinds of things. And then, of course, you find the Heron Street now, a lot of art galleries there. Jonker Street, of course, became Jonker Walk, the famous Jonker Walk at night. At one time, it was so dull, it was so boring. But when they opened up Jonker Walk, it became so lively, and you see the transition now. I don't recognize Jalan Gelanggang or Jonker Street of the old days.
Living near the airport of Melaka, at Taman Suterawangi, Batu Berendam, it's a Peranakan Chinese family, the whole family. The whole family consists of 5 members, Mr. and Mrs. Ho, as well as his 2 sons and a daughter. Mr. Ho is a retiree and Mrs. Ho work part-time as a pineapple tarts baker, and their children are all in their degree now. The whole family practices a very simple life. The daily lifestyles are very similar to the modern Chinese of Malaysia. Over the years of globalizations, many cultures face deterioration and same to a Peranakan Chinese in Melaka.
My dad passed away in 1973, if I'm not mistaken. I was very young at then. So the culture that we already throw it aside, keep it aside, not take throw it, just keep it aside when you follow all the Chinese tradition. So we follow our mom. Our mom is what you call Teochew. Teochew. So we follow the culture of Teochew. But the Teochew one is very much different from Baba.
So not everyday life also is normal only.
We take it simple lah. Take it simple life. We don't take it so hard.
The wedding. It used to be a 12-day procession, festival, grand affair. But now they don't. They just cut to 2 days, and which is so modern anyway. Okay, the old-fashioned dressing, the traditional garb, where the men and women wear the beautiful clothing. Most of them have stopped it. They wear the modern garb. For a simple reason, because the old traditional way costs a lot of money. They can't afford it. Very time consuming. You got to practice. You got to rehearse. And it's so delicate, fragile. So they have no choice. Everything is fast nowadays. So they change.
Our wedding is normal, like
Ours is
we don't
follow
Nyonya.
modern side.
We don't follow.
If really you want to follow the traditional of
the
Baba and Nyonya,
costume, everything.
costume you have to. Then Baba is a lot of pantang,
A lot.
a lot of pantang. So let's say my wife, the what you call 八字 and mine, we have to put on the datuk there one.
Oh, I know is Nyonya one when they want to marry they will take his birth cert. Put the same place in his house to see if anything bad happen tak jadi one, you know.
This is the
That's
tradition.
what my sister last time, the mother-in-law also Nyonya. So they will take the birth cert, my sister birth cert, and keep it in their house for 3 days or whatever. See if anything bad happen. If it's anything bad happen, that means no good. For we all don't follow that.
The baju panjang means a long dress are usually worn by elderly bibiks. For informal and homewear, most bibiks will wear baju kena, a rounded collar blouse with 2 large pockets. Meanwhile, the baju sarung kebaya or kebaya, as spelled in the Portuguese Cristão language, means a blouse. It is the epitome of the Nyonya lady's attire, as it is elegant and exquisite. The sarung kebaya is worn over a camisole, and the kebaya is pinned with kerongsang made up of 3-legged brooches. These brooches are made up either by diamonds, precious stones, or gold. To complement the sarung kebaya, the Nyonyas will wear a pair of kasut manik, the hand-crafted and embroidered beaded slippers. In the 1930s, the kasut manik became a popular footwear, and even the Baba gentlemen wore them. However, these days, it is only made for the ladies.
Over the years, I've seen the culture is slowly going down, deteriorating, almost lost. Visibly, yes, you can see a Nyonya wearing kebaya, you can see a man wearing that Chinese style, but nothing more, because the modern influence, the way of life, the people have to change, and a lot of them cut short the customs, the religious practices, and whatnot. What I see now is basically the Baba and Nyonya culture, the Peranakan Chinese. The only thing that's sustaining us is the food. The food is still around. Okay, the pongte, all that kind of dishes, laksa and all that. Food is still around. The dressing, not much. The language, the worst thing.
The Peranakan of Malay speak their own language, the Baba Malay, which is a patois of a Malay language mixed with dosages of largely Hokkien words and sprinkled with some of the dialects. Example like the long table of Peranakan used for dining, they call it the Tok Panjang in Baba Malay. Tok in Hokkien means table, while Panjang is the Malay language meaning long.
Most of the parents tend to send the children to the Kebangsaan school. They speak Malay, right? English a bit. And some of the parents will send the children to the Chinese medium school, like Pei Fong in Melaka, Yok Bin and all that. So they tend to speak more Mandarin. And in fact, now you cannot recognize them anymore. The young children, they don't speak Baba Malay now. Very few.
The concern of the language was significant. Even Mr. Ho, coming from a Baba and Nyonya family in the 70s, no longer communicate frequently in Baba Malay.
I speak with my children all in English. Sometimes I speak with my wife in Baba language or in English. Majority we do that, but no other language unless my children they speak Mandarin with each other only.
Geli gua. Ada kena bagi gua koi hidung dia. Tak ada pi gua kedak. Gua ambil sumpit tu gua sumpit kan dia pulih. Lu gila. Masuk sumpit tu cocok otak gila oh. Gua
Of course, over the 60s, 70s, Christianity became very strong. Okay, the Methodists came in, they set up a school. The Catholics, Methodist girls' school, boys' school. The Catholics came, set up St. Francis Institution. So, a lot of them were what do you call it? Slowly became Christians. They converted to Christianity. They embraced all other religions, Baha'i, Christianity. Some became Muslims, some became and above all when they intermarry with all the races. They have to adopt accordingly. If the husband is a Sikh, they became a core. They follow Sikhism or Hinduism or Islam or whichever religion.
Malaysia is a country with diverse races and of course religions. We often relate the races with their beliefs. Like Malays are Muslim, Indian believe in Hinduism, and Chinese hold on to Buddhism. In the older days, Peranakan practices Buddhism, but it's not the same with Peranakan Chinese now.
When I was young and single, I went to Indian temple, I went to Chinese temple, I went to Christian, and I went to the mosque, Malay Muslim mosque. Finally, I end up, then we convert to Buddhism. So when Buddhism come, then we start to play Chinese culture. There is a lot of things that we need to learn about Buddhist. So I convert already, then my wife convert, then my children all convert to Buddhism already.
Now, there's always people ask me whether I think that the culture is dying or not, or what are the things that we should do to conserve and preserve the culture. Now, if you ask me, I think I would prefer to say that our culture, the Baba and Nyonya culture specifically, is evolving into a new form of the Baba and Nyonya identity. Why? Now, if you look at the origin of this Baba and Nyonya community, if their forefathers, our forefathers, did not change, we would still be like any other Chinese that live out of China. Now, the very reason that my forefathers adapted to the local lifestyle here and changed to their surrounding, like when the British came, they became very anglicized. That very reason make us who we are today. So I think now we are undergoing another process of evolution into something what I do not know for now. Perhaps we can see in the future how the Baba and Nyonya community would want to define themselves.
The Baba and Nyonya Heritage Museum, located at Jalan Tun Tan Cheng Lock, was one of the efforts to conserve the uniqueness of the Peranakans of Melaka. The museum was the house of the Chan family in 1861. The house is a combination of 3 terrace lots, and 4 generations lived in the house before it was opened as a museum in March 1985. Though the house had been converted into a private museum, the Chan family still retains their home as ancestral home, where they perform the prayers during festive celebrations. The richness of the culture in Baba and Nyonya Heritage Museum had not only attracted the local tourists, but also the tourists from different countries. The distinguished and charming culture that the Peranakans of Melaka held their own need to be conserved from the footsteps of globalization.
Okay, with the museum is like a reminder to them of who they are and also how the culture came about.
The Association of Baba and Nyonya will also organize various activities to create chances for the interactions and to educate younger generations of Peranakan. The dinner and dance held annually invites Peranakan from Melaka, Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore.
This night possible. Gua pun ucapkan kamsia, terima kasih.
We try to educate our youth or try to instill interest in them. We have activities to teach them about probably culinary. Food is an important aspect of the culture. And also other handicraft like sewing the beaded shoes. We have this kind of workshop to educate and also to create awareness among the youth of the Baba and Nyonya community.
Over the years, I've seen the culture is slowly going down, deteriorating. If you are Chinese but you don't think Chinese, you don't practice it, the customs, you're not a Chinese. As they call it, you're what? A banana. Right? So this is what is facing the culture now. That's why the Peranakan Chinese Associations, they're trying to revive. But how long? That is a question.
Distinguished and charming, the culture of Peranakan Chinese is fast slipping away and fractured over the years by factors beyond their control. The cultural heritage is facing a huge threat, and the footsteps towards the extinction of Peranakan Chinese are no longer shadow plays. And it is time to seriously ponder.